Kani kani ooh kani 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 sexual feet. Okay, now that all the weirdos are away and my obligated gatekeeping is finished, all the real ones are here. You know who you are. The real NWA type shit. The anime fans, the nerds, the outcasts, the weirdos. You look at this and go, hell yeah. When you were younger, you played Dragon Ball and Power Rangers with your friends, striking poses and waking up early Saturdays to go on obscure TV channels to make sure you catch up on your favorite show as a kid. When you grew up and all your friends no longer watched the same cartoons as you, played the same games as you, it's not like they didn't like you or your interests, they've just moved on. That's fine, you just discovered Sergeant Frog in Future Diary. When you went to your normie school and noticed around you that you couldn't relate to your classmates. Not like you didn't like them or that they didn't like you, it's just that there was a disconnect that you couldn't quite explain. You were just a bit too weird for them to fully understand. That's fine, you just discovered Toradora and Angel Beats. When you left home to go to work, go to college, you were always just slightly apart, slightly cringy, slightly too autistic, too stupid for everyone, more or less. You still watched those same Mongolian basket-weaving cartoons. You may even still be friends with those same guys who don't fully understand you think. And now you're here. Where did you go wrong, you fucking weeaboo? Blue Archive is a game that takes place in J-Rags and Kapistan, except instead of giant megacorporations owning everything, it's schools. The megacorps are still trying to take control of shit, though don't worry about it, they're just defeated by God's strongest soldier, a teenage girl with a gun. Yeah, I'd be scared too. Welcome to Kivotos, a big populated city full of angels, demons, dogs, robots? The Power Rangers? You play as Sensei, the only person with a dick in the whole city, which means you are a prime target and kind of belong to everyone. Because if not, well, look, Demon Germany and Catholic Britain already want to kill each other. Please don't give them any more reason, okay? Just because these girls are immune to bullets does not mean that they won't shoot each other. In fact, they love shooting at one another. Please stop them. They are going to get hurt. But just because your students are immune to bullets does not mean that you are. So try not to get shot. Blue Archive is a game I really like. It's very good. In fact, go play it right now. Actually, this video is dumb and very long and will spoil a lot. So just go ahead, turn it off. Go download it on BlueStacks or whatever your... I like to play mobile games on my computer of choice. There's another one that I forgot what it's called, and if you came here for an honest, objective, unbiased, and fair review of the infamous gacha game that always seems to show up on your Twitter, full of weirdos who constantly go, "Oh, kani sex," then fuck off. So you might as well call me a cocksucker the way I'm about to suck off this Korean game.
Blue Archive.
Alright, that's it. No more memes. This is now a meme-free zone. It's time to get serious. It's time to get real. It's time to get into the nitty-gritty of the... Whoa, 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 hold up. Whoa, whoa, not that serious. Whoa, chill, yo. Ooh, chill. Not that serious. Not yet. Not yet. Wait, like, a few hours. Now, why would you even play this game? Gacha games are everywhere. They're prevalent and not fun. Story, pff, everyone says their gacha game has a great story. Music, pff, everyone says their game has the best music. Rise up! Waifus, everyone says their gacha game has the... Holy glory to the Gourmet Club, they did nothing wrong. I love her. The reason to play Blue Archive is simple. It means it. It's earnest and sincere. Yeah, that's the lead dev. Get yourself a lead dev who proudly and unironically licks the feet of his own creation without a hint of shame. There's no hint of irony or cynicism in Blue Archive. It's a game for weebs by weebs. Like I stated earlier, Kivotos is a massive city with a school in each of its districts. The schools are so powerful, they basically run and control that district. It might even be easier to think of the schools as whole countries than just a normal anime school. And you have Trinity, Catholic Britain with angels and nun girls, and did nothing wrong. Their eternal rival, Gehenna, the funny demon Germany school full of war criminals and demons, and did more nothing wrong. Millennium, an actually normal school. Abetos has 5 students. School not appearing in this video because this is only up to volume F and it's the arc after volume F, so instead I just read some funny events about ninjas. Soviet Russia, just the police. Actually, just the police. And some homeless kids. Wait, I feel like I'm forgetting a school. And once upon a time, there was the UN, or the General Student Council, who had a president and everything was fine. For once, there was peace in this mega massive city that canonically takes months to ride your bike from one end to another. And everything was fine and dandy. And then she's disappeared. Now the 7 prisoners have escaped, the shell building got taken over by a fox, Trinity and Gehenna still hate each other, Abetos is being bought out by a mega corporation being full of desert and sand, the school of highly trained specialization super cops just got shot down and now they're homeless, and Millennium is... rabbits? Being rabbits and saving Blue Archive from end of service? And the General Student Council can't do shit because they're getting harassed by the news. Everyone's worst fear, being harassed by the news. And that's where you come in after being given an iPad by someone. It'll be up to you after taking back your home from a crazy fox and saying hi to your new AI daughter. It'll be up to you to be a teacher and do teacher things, like not actually teaching any subjects like math or science, but instead life lessons, encouraging your students to follow their dreams and teaching them to not sign contracts with whatever the fuck this guy is. Music! This game has a lot of it. Too much, even. So unlike a certain other video, I won't be playing a bunch of tracks side by side again. Instead, let me put my big brain cap on. The soundtrack is primarily consistent of happy, upbeat songs, as if to remind you to have fun. And that it's just a silly little game with cute girls. Make sure to not take itself too seriously. Like the very iconic Unwelcome School. If it's so iconic, why is there no Welcome School? There's 2 sides of the Blue Archive OST. The fun, happy, carefree music, slice of life, yay, I'm having fun with my friends music. And Payday 2. Alright, enough dilly-dallying, time to get to the real meat of this shit. Talking about music that's for nerds. Introducing a topic, lame, gay, cringe, setting up the world for cowards. It's time to cry about the meaning of friendship and being a better person and role model to those around you like a real man. So once again, what the fuck is going on here? Like I said earlier, you play as Sensei. Or actually, it's more like I should say you are Sensei. An otaku nerd, a bit of a weirdo, and frankly way in over his head at this new teaching job. I think Blue Archive actually counts as an isekai. So, you are so much so over your head, you are about to pass out in a goddamn desert, if not for this random wolf girl coming to save your life. The girl introduces herself as Shiroko. She's a little strange and a little aloof, but she really likes her bike. And she helps you by giving you an energy drink and offering to help you get through the rest of the way to the school. To which, like a normal person, you ask this girl for a piggyback ride and says she smells good despite being sweaty. Sensei is very weird. Sensei is our boy. Remember this, Sensei is very weird and he is our boy. This will come up later. Shoko carries your pathetic ass all the way to the school, to which everyone there thinks you're both kinda weird, which to be fair is very understandable. Why the hell are you even here in this rundown school? It's full of sand. Well, it's simple. One of the students sent you a letter asking for your help. You see, Abydos is a bit of a tight spot. Once a prestigious school in one of the largest academies in all of Kavodos, but due to climate change of all things and desertification, it started falling apart. So now a lot of the students have left, and Abydos is kind of in a huge amount of debt that the 5 remaining students are struggling to pay off. On top of all that, the local gangs assault the school almost every day. Luckily, the gangs are kinda dumb and easily beaten back. After saving the day, let's meet the foreclosure task force. Of course, there's Shiroko, but we already met her. She's a wolf. There's also Sarika, a tsundere cat girl who's always working part-time jobs and just kind of a hard worker in general. Of course, she has pigtails. She just happens. Just born with them. Nonami is a mysteriously very rich One-san type that goes ara ara and like pats your head and you sit in her lap and shit. Ayane is the responsible one of the group who tries to keep everything together, but she will eventually snap if you piss her off too much. And the eldest, and I guess by default leader of the foreclosure task force, is Hoshino, a very lazy girl who all she does is sleep all day and complain about being old. Very relatable, despite only being a senior in high school. Not relatable. Don't ask why she's suspiciously one of the most powerful students in the entire city. All of these are, as you can probably tell, all these characters are very tropey. Tropes that you and I have seen before in many slice of life anime and many other things. The aloof girl, the tsundere, the one-san, megane, and so on. But it never comes off as annoying. Instead, it's almost endearing. It's like a celebration. It's like Blue Archive is trying to celebrate these tropes any anime fan would have long come accustomed to and seen 1,000 times before. Instead of subverting or giving these tropey characters a new spin, Blue Archive allows them to play out as they shall and give the characters depths in other ways. We learn their likes and dislikes, the different attitudes for different characters. Here's backstories and what they do in their free time. And this is without going into their Momotalks, the primary way of getting a deeper understanding of the characters. No, instead Blue Archive reminds you why these tropes exist, and just how fun they can be when well written and simply allowed to bounce off one another. I won't be going into as much detail as every character just now, just the ones I like. The foreclosure task force quickly becomes like a home. It's already been a home to these girls for a long time before you showed up, but you very quickly become accustomed to their antics and shenanigans and are accepted as one of their own. Well, almost everyone accepts you as their own. Sarika is a bit more hesitant and frustrated that no one has come to their help before. So why should they suddenly trust and rely on some outsider adult that came out of nowhere? It's not our job to fix all their issues, and they're doing just fine, kinda. And besides, no one has ever actually cared enough to ask about their situation before, or even try to help. And I mean, technically, the letter Ayane wrote only said to bring ammo and supplies. So we've already done our job. We could just go home. But something about that's not right. Now is it? Sensei is a very stubborn character and helps regardless. Or, well, I should say you help regardless, I mean. Days go on by and Sarika still doesn't like us. So fuck it, why not just stalk her? That's a good idea. Remember, if a girl doesn't like you, stalk her and follow her to her place of work. Works every time, 100% of the time. It works. I can't remember how that goes, fuck. We're able to stalk her all the way to her part-time job, and fuck it, why not just bring all of her classmates too just to embarrass her? Yeah! But despite Sarika's frustrations, the get-together at the ramen shop quickly becomes an important memory, getting a CG and everything. And this place becomes the club's go-to spot to hang out and eat, much to Sarika's annoyance. So, all's well that ends well, except for the fact you had to pay for it all. Oh, and Sarika gets fucking kidnapped by the same gang from earlier using a Flak 41. What the fuck? How do the gang members have an anti-aircraft gun? Luckily, anime girls are immune to bullets, and she just passes out. The team very quickly hatches together a plan to save Sarika. So quick. In fact, Sarika doesn't even have time to be sad about being kidnapped. Not even enough time to worry about having her friends think she left her like everyone else. So we come to the rescue, of course. We always do, and always will. How the fuck do these high school dropouts have a tank? But we did it! We've earned the trust of Sarika, and things can finally go back to normal. In the dark, high-rise tower, a mysterious CEO is frustrated by his lack of success in removing Abedos. Apparently, even with the tank he supplied those gangs, they couldn't even do it. Such bullshit. So he calls upon darker, more lethal forces. Yes, the most feared criminals in all of Kibodos. The Problem Solvers at 68. The Problem Solvers are a feared group of outlaws and criminals, led by the notorious boss Aru, and with her is the feared Murasaki, the frightening Kayoko, and the temperamental Haruka. Together, they do the crime if you got the dime. Yeah, no, the Problem Solvers are complete jokes, and I love them, actually. Aru comes off as cool and terrifying mob boss, but she's secretly panicking at just about everything. Murasaki might actually be a war criminal, though, on top of being a brat. Kayoko's pretty normal. She just likes cats and acts as the straight man, and Haruka has problems. You can't fix her. But yeah, there are a bunch of broke clowns who like to hang out with Aru. They should probably go back to school. Meanwhile, the Foreclosure Task Force is coming up with great plans to pay back their debt, like kidnapping a bus full of children and robbing a bank. What? Shogo, in fact, is very passionate about robbing banks, so much so she's already made masks for everyone and kind of planned the whole thing out already. She might have played a little too much Payday. This is kind of what I was hinting at when I suggested she was aloof. Because up until now, she's pretty normal. Until it's revealed she's a cold-hearted criminal wannabe. Really weird trait. She just loves robbing banks. Shenanigans ensue with the Problem Solvers attacking the Foreclosure Task Force once or twice in an epic blood feud rivalry. The Problem Solvers even blow up the fucking ramen shop. No! And they all immediately become friends, much to Aru's dismay of wanting to be a real villain. Immediately might be a bit of an exaggeration. They do fight a lot. It just kind of so happens when getting shot at is an inconvenience and goes ouchie. It's really easy to let bygones be bygones. Yeah, sorry, this is anime hijinks land. If you want, like, serious drama, don't worry about it. We have fun here. This is Funland. Shiroko even gets her wish of robbing a bank. What? Yeah, so the team decided to rob one of the banks connected to Kaiser Corporation, an infamous mega corporation where it's all but an open secret that they deal with the black market. And after a quick trip to the black market to look for Pororo merch, I don't know, they also ran into this completely normal girl from Trinity, Hifumi. She's actually pretty normal. She just likes this duck thing and gets wrapped up in dumb shit a lot. So the anime Payday gang robbed the evil Kaiser Bank. Shiroko made masks for everyone. And they all use code names and become the Masked Swimsuit Gang. Nonami made up the name. And Hifumi, who has to wear a paper bag because she got wrapped up on all this, and Shiroko didn't have enough time to make her a mask like everyone else, suddenly becomes their super evil supreme leader, Faust. I promise this is all important. Bear with me. So after robbing the evil Germany bank and striking infamy and fear into this poor robot clerk guy, they make their epic getaway with the money and, more importantly, documents about Kaiser Corporation dealing with the local gangs to harass Abedos and Kaiser Corp, and their whole like wanting to take over the whole district thing. With this knowledge of a greater conspiracy, they throw away all the money. What? The important thing is another fun memory is added to the books. But all these shenanigans and dumb bullshit, especially blowing up a ramen store for no reason, catches the attention of a much bigger school. An actual threat, not the very silly Saturday morning cartoon villains that are the problem solvers, no. But it is the Gehenna Prefect team. An actual threat. Never mind the fact they're just here to scold the problem solvers for being delinquents. But that's fucking bullshit! The problem solvers are our friend nuisances, so they can go fuck themselves. They are our pain in the asses, not them. The prefect team is made up of Chinatsu, she's German, and the healer lady. Akko is scary, she yells really loudly. But she is also domination lost the characters. So Ayori is brown and she has feet. This is important. And the leader is probably one of the most powerful students in the entire city, Hina, who is also Nexon's favorite girl. Luckily, a little fighting is just how you make friends in Kivotos, as we've learned at this point, so all's well that ends well. Things go back to normal after the utter chaos that was everything. Or at least as normal as you can get when chaos has kind of just become the normal. But the hijinks are endearing. It shows the characters at their best and allows us to see many sides of the characters. And while, yes, we do have a large cast of characters now, everyone has their moment for even a little bit. A genius thing that Blue Archive does is that no character is alone for the most part. They're a part of their own friend group and they can be introduced alongside, and you get to see them bounce off one another, letting you see not just one character, but everyone in their element. With plenty of personality and characters, you're able to imagine just about how any character in the game would react to a situation. There's a reason why people get so attached to them and eventually want the best for them. And at this point, the Foreclosure Task Force, the first group we meet, have really come to feel like a family, who bicker and tease one another, but are also genuine friends who have each other's backs and are able to take on the world together. Except for the fact that there are sinister people out there. Realization slowly dawns that the debt will never be paid off. It's simply impossible. But Hoshino is given an offer. The impossible debt Betos has hanging over their friends will be completely forgiven if all she does is join the Kaiser Corporation. An offer too good to be true, surely, but she takes it anyway, leaving a note for the rest of the gang that if anything were to happen, to not be afraid to break her halo. The only actual way to kill a student. But that's fucking bullshit! Somewhere in Kivotos is a normal seeming office building. We march inside and confront the mysterious benefactor of Kaiser, the real mastermind of all of this, and the apparent blatant exploitation of not only Abetos, but of the students, of course Hoshino, Black Suit of Gematria, who happily admits that he and his group will use the suffering of others as stepping stones so long as it is to their benefit. He even has the gall to say that he's interested in us, in Sensei. He can't help to see us as kindred spirits who wishes for us to join his merry band of weirdos and psychopaths, to which there is no option to even think about joining. Those with power exploit those without. Those with knowledge exploit those without. Imagine providing water to someone dying of thirst in a desert. Would it not be fair to expect that person to repay you with their life? Every adult knows this to be true, isn't that right? Black Suit's second offer is simple. Give up on Hoshino. Walk away from Abotos and everything will be fine. Kaiser Corp will leave them alone and the students can go back to their school activities, living it out to the best of their abilities. That is what Hoshino wanted, after all. Black Suit even says he doesn't want to kill or hurt us in any way, shape, or form. The opposite, actually. He wants us to live our life, take care of our responsibility. Any one of these matters much, much more than the struggles of some children. But that's fucking stupid. And selfish, frankly. We have no other reason to help those students other than it's the right thing to do. An adult is someone who takes responsibility, after all. We do what we do because it's simply the right thing to do. No other reason is needed. With that, we tell Black Suit to go fuck himself. Besides, he wouldn't get it anyway. We informed the many friends we made through our shenanigans about the situation. One of our friends, a member of our club of Abetos, member of our family, was taken from us. The foreclosure task force is no longer whole. It's not the same, not right. So we ask the problem solvers. We even go as so far as licking Iori's seat to get the prefect team to help. What? Sensei, what the fuck? With everyone's help, we're able to storm the Kaiser compound, beat back the defenses, and set Kaiser's operations here in Betos back for the time being. But most importantly, we save our friend, who's only here because she made a selfish decision out of love. But none of that matters now. She's home. With the lives of our students changed forever, for the better, we stepped in when no one else would. Found a home and belong in the foreclosure task force. Met wild characters like Aru and the problem solvers. Accidentally made a permanent black stain on a normal girl Hifumi's record by making her a hardened bank robber. Oops. Got to meet Hino, one of the most powerful students in Kvotos, and earn her trust and friendship. Set back the Kaiser Corporation and told Black Suit to go fuck himself. Most importantly, we helped Nonomi, Soraka, Ayame, Shiriko, and Hoshino. Sounds like we did a pretty good job. Nerd School! After the adventures in Egypt, we are suddenly summoned via another letter to the head of one of the big three schools of Kvotos. The new kid on the block, the rising star, Millennium, full of Kvotos' biggest and brightest, like the Engineer Club, trying to make a spaceship, or the super elite Hacksaws group, or Maid Club? And last, but probably definitely the least, the Game Development Club, or just the gamers. In fact, they are so the least, they are actually getting forcefully disbanded for their poor performance and overall being a general embarrassment to Millennium. Gamers continue to be the most oppressed race. Which is the actual reason we're here, called over to help this club of misfits not get disbanded and say goodbye to the little home they built up here. The gamers are made up of only 3 members, Momoi and Midori being twin sisters, with Momoi being special. She's a little stupid, a little autistic, very passionate about video games, and likes saying and Green being the normal smug twin. Their club president is Yuzu, the super epic Yuzu queen who's a boss at every video game, but in reality she's really shy. She's also a fucking sadist who wants to make a super hardcore bullet hell with no bombs and shit. I promise I won't talk about every character, just the ones I like. And the game dev club is on the ropes and needs your help. You see, Yuka is a big meanie because she's doing her job and telling the game dev club that to get their fucking shit together or they're getting shut down. You see, Yuka is one of the few normal girls in Blue Archive. She does normal things like math. She's definitely the girl who reminds the teacher we had homework last night. Because she not only did her homework, she also did all the extra credit. Fucking nerd. But she also does have dual SMGs, which is pretty cool, so she gets a pass. So, you'd think the gamers would put their nose to the grindstone and actually get to work. After all, if they don't pass the upcoming Millennium Fair, that's it! No more video games forever! So you'd think they'd bust their asses off then to make a best video game ever, right? No! Wrong! You're stupid. At least not yet. They'll do that later. No, instead they fuck off to look for the mysterious, rumored G Bible that will solve all of their problems. They don't find it. But way more importantly, they find a girl, a robot girl, who the computer refers to as AL1S. But Momoi thinks that's a dumb name and calls her Aris, and they take the robot girl to the game development club, quickly raise her off a fuck ton of video games, making the poor robot girl very, very autistic. She even played the game dev's shitty game Tales Saga Chronicles. I got a bunch of negative reviews and even one worst game of the year. Ha! Aris thought it was fun, somehow. Aris, yes, that is her god Momoi given name. It's not Alice. She is a precious ball of sunshine, a very good girl, a very autistic daughter who always tries her best. She likes the simple things in life, like her friends, video games. She makes a lot of really, really corny video game references, and we love her for it. And she's going to be a fucking hero. Yeah! She immediately joins the gamer club that kidnapped her. It's okay, they're friends now. So things go back to normal with the new Aris in tow as the gamers annoy Yuka, who's just doing her job, and procrastinate on actually working on the game that's supposed to save their club. You see, their last game was such a failure that everyone died and everyone hated it, and it's more or less dissuaded them from ever wanting to make another video game ever again. And instead, they wish to use and find the legendary G Bible, which will supposedly tell them what the people want to play. It will tell them the people's voice. It will let the people know what they want. Just one problem. That one problem being ruins. There's actually a fuck ton of ruins in Kavotos. What? This is really weird. Why are there ruins everywhere in the Millennium District? Another problem being Aris doesn't have a gun. And everyone needs a gun in Kavotos. So where do we get one? We get one illegally from the engineering club. Just go ask for them. They'll hook you up. The engineering club is made up of eccentric. The club leader of the club is the cool and level-headed Utaha. The shy and awkward fishnet-wearing, cosplay-loving Hibiki. And Katori, the annoying one. The engineering club informs the gamers that they don't actually have any guns. I lied. They don't make mass-produced fake firearms. But they did talk a lot about their dream. The dream of building an intergalactic battleship, which the three all fawn over. But they haven't actually made any progress in making the big old spaceship. They did build a big fucking railgun though, so that's cool. To which Aris takes the gun and calls it the Sword of Light because she's the hero. Duh. The engineering club just kind of lets the gamers take the gun on an indefinite test drive, but not without some suspicion of how Aris can even use the gun that's much too big to be called a gun. Heading back down to the ruins and finding a ton of robots, the crew is able to find the G Bible with the help of Aris this time. And strangely enough, as if by her nature, she's able to understand that she needs to download the G Bible to Momoi's Switch. Which they do, much to Momoi's anguish. But even worse, the G Bible, the answer to all their problems, needs a password that no one can figure out. So, fuck it, we take it to the local hacking club, Fanartist, with Hare, Maki, Kotomi, Vice President Chihiro, and their missing president Himari, and the club very quickly inform Moi that her saves on her Switch cannot be recovered. They are gone forever. Sad. Momoi very quickly gets called an idiot by Midori, and they talk about the actual reason why they're there. To which not only does Veritas inform the gamers that the G Bible is the real deal, but is also basically impossible to get into without the password. Which would be fine if the hackers had their super cool, epic, awesome password cracking machine that the late Himari, rest her soul, she's not actually dead, created, called the Mirror, which Yuka has confiscated for very obvious ethical reasons. So, fuck it. It's simple. The hackers want their mirror back to do stuff with it, and the gamers want it to the G Bible. So, fuck it. Just break into the highly secure storage where the student council keeps everything they confiscate, which is also guarded by the maid club, CNC, and the saviors of Blue Archive. So basically, they're fucked, even with the hackers' help. Oh well, time to give up on saving the game club. Except there's hope. CNC's strongest member, Nero, 00, is missing. Out of town at the moment, so there's a chance. And besides, we might as well. The club room may be old and leaky, but it's not just where the gang plays video games anymore. It's where they all belong. And Aris kind of brings up a good point. When the world is on the brink of destruction, a legendary hero must rise to save it by defeating the wicked demon lord Yuka. But after apparently playing 45 RPGs, Aris has determined that there is a powerful weapon all these legendary heroes have in common? No, it is not leveling up or upgrading equipment, or wiretaps, or an EMP. No, it's that they fight alongside their friends. But the plan would be impossible, even with the combined force of the gamers and the hackers. No, we need the engineering club, who say yes immediately because it sounds like fun. Okay, that was easy. If you've noticed, Sensei slash us, me, you, we've been taking much more of a backseat role this time around, where, as in beta, several things popped up that needed our direct help, but this time we're more or less just nudging the girls into doing things that they already want. Siding with them even if it gets us in trouble with Yuka and the rest of the school. We're here to guide the girls to their dreams. Even if it takes some loops to figure it out, the goal of making the best game ever and to save the club. And how do we save the club? Our dream, achieving the unachievable. By fighting with everything we got, tooth and nail. The gamers and maids duke it out. A battle of wits and tactics. It's actually one of the best written fights in the game. It's very fun. And the maids are no joke. Each one of them is a feared combatant, even without Nero. Akane is the team mom, who definitely goes ara and is a terrifying combatant and likes to blow things up. Asuna is a golden retriever and bottle of sunshine, and the very stoic sniping agent Karin. It takes a lot of coordination between the three teams to even deal with only 3 maids. Even going so far as launching mortars at the school to cause even more chaos. But Nero does eventually return, and single-handedly turns the entire battle. Through some shenanigans and some metal gearing, the gamers are able to sneak into confiscated storage room and steal the mirror. Able to crack the password once and for all the hard work will finally be paid off. The secrets of the G-Bible revealed. The game club will be saved. The secret to not just making any video game, but the best video game ever is love video games. That's fucking stupid. Just look at what loving video games got them the first time. The one game the game development department made, Tales Saga Chronicles, was a complete disaster. Over 1,000 negative reviews. The desire to never make anything ever again is overwhelming after such a large-scale criticism and negativity. They even won the Worst Game of the Year award. But Iris did say the game was fun. That's gotta count for something, right? Creating something and getting to hear that others enjoyed what you made is the dream of any creative. To bring joy to a stranger through a passion project. A piece of yourself in an artistic form. Whether it's a game full of your favorite tropes and mechanics, a song full of deep and introspective lyrics, or a YouTube video about your favorite game. To hear that even one person liked it, that it brought them joy and fun, that it meant something to them, it's an endless reward in of itself. So with only 6 days, 4 hours, and 30 minutes remaining till the Millennium Prize, the Game Development Club is going to have to crunch like never before to create Tales Sonic Chronicles 2. The day of the Millennium Prize has arrived, and we find out that poor Iris has gained a new fear of maid uniforms and anyone wearing a maid uniform. Fair enough, they've been fighting maids for like 3 days straight, and more especially Nero, who... She actually runs at the mere mention of Nero. But with that bit of slice of life aside, the Millennium Prize has begun. If they don't win this, or win anything, it's over for the game development department. Luckily, there can be 7 winners. Unluckily, there are hundreds of submissions. And they didn't win. Oh well, we tried. So much for loving video games. Reviews for the game weren't that bad this time. The girls are devastated. And rightfully so. Momoy shoots the shit out of the TV in anguish. And as the girls are crying about having to leave one another, none other than Yuka, the bane of the game club's existence, comes frolicking in to congratulate the club. You see, Millennium, in its years, has only rewarded students for creating something practical. A tool, not art. But this year, something's made them change their mind and rethink things a bit. In the judge's own words, practicality fails to fully cover the emotions which can be brought on by an interactive experience. And so, for the first time in the history of the prize, we are awarding a unique top honor. The Game Development Department's Tales Saga Chronicles 2 gets the prize. Because it was a game that reminded everyone why they came to love video games in the first place. Even the cold and serious Yuka said it reminded her of much of how much she loved video games as a kid. They did it. And all it took was loving video games. A perfect result. Like I said earlier, we/Sensei take much more of a back seat this time around, allowing the girls to reach their own goals and dreams on their own. Through their love of video games they held, and with one another, to the many new friends they made along the way, in part 1 of Millennium, everyone has a dream. The engineering club dreams to create a super cool intergalactic spaceship. Veritas' dream is for Himari, the club president, to come back, and to get back her creation of the mirror. Yuka's dream is to not pull her fucking hair out because Millennium is full of insane STEM majors, and the game development department's dream is to make games. They met a robot girl and taught her what it meant to be human. The RPGs made friends with hackers and Chunies, battled maids for a magic mirror, really went on an epic quest to achieve their dream of making a game. Saving the department became second place to what was always more important, being able to have fun together. Now, no longer in the rut of living in the shadow of their previous failure. Together, they get to be lazy gamers again, and now with a new member. Later that night, while they are asleep, the G-Bible recovers its data, and the words "division" flash on its screen. Things are back to normal. Things are slow at Shale for the moment, and for once, we have nothing to do! So the gamers have asked us to come over and hang out. We get back to what Blue Archive does best. Slice of life bullshit. We get to play Guilty Gear with Momoy for hours, beating her every time for market research apparently, for their next game. See, the team is getting prepared to work on their next game, and are struggling with brainstorming ideas, because they're a little all over the place to say the least. And this is where we learn the very important detail that Iris likes roguelike games. But it can't be stressed enough that the three... there was a lot of arguing over the direction of the new game. So Yuzu decides to send Iris off on a quest. A quest to find better inspiration. And we go, because fuck it, why not? This is just a blatant excuse to get a tour of Millennium, but according to Iris, we're apparently level 1 apprentice heroes. Whatever that means. I'm sure it's important to her. Immediately this time around, Sensei is in a much more proactive role, having full-on conversations with Iris about video game heroes as they walk around Millennium. We get to meet Sumire, the lone member of the athletics club in the nerd school, who's happy that Iris gets to join her once again. We learn that Iris has actually gone around and made friends with a bunch of people. Sumire being one of them. Asuna and Karen are former maid enemies Iris declares her party members. Seems like everyone's getting along together. We check up on the engineering club and even run into Nero to play video games at the local arcade. Finding out that Nero and Iris, who were once trying to beat the crap out of one another, have become fast friends and video game rivals. Nero is actually one of Iris's best friends. Our days in Millennium continue on like normal, getting pretty damn used to the normal goings-on of an actual school and not 5 girls in a desert. The scope has transitioned seamlessly from a small, tight-knit group of gamers to encompassing the entire school. Everyone has a role, and Millennium really starts to come to life. In these earlier parts, fleshing it out, the culture, and even what types of students go to Millennium. It certainly helps that Millennium is by far the most normal school in Kivodos, just being a STEM school with some quirky geniuses. So just a STEM school. Apparently Maki from Veritas, the hacking club, found a cool robot and called us all down to come check it out. What's up with all the fucking robots in Kivodos? The hackers show us and the gamers a strange ball-like robot. They're kinda weird looking. Veritas says that they were found in the outskirts of Millennium. And they've done a bunch of tests and nothing can seem to activate them. And as we're all discussing what the hell to do with these robots, Iris starts to wander closer and closer to one. She turns on the robots with ease. And Iris starts acting strange. The robots all start to surround the girl, and the Jeep Bible starts calling Iris weird things like "my precious lady." Before Iris is completely taken over and comes AL1S once again. Everything explodes around them as Iris and the robots go on the attack, destroying the entire room and then some. Iris isn't listening to any sense or reason as she charges up a railgun again to fire at everyone. Momoi is already seriously hurt, and we need to stop Iris before she destroys the entire school. Iris's rampage is almost unstoppable. She goes around and hurts several of the students. It's not until Nero comes in and knocks the poor kid out, with the rest of CNC taking care of the rest of the frenzy robots. But Momoi is hurt bad, and her daily life is destroyed. Put into a coma, Momoi shows no sign of waking up. Everything's looking pretty bleak. Iris has locked herself in a club room, completely distraught at what she's done. Midori nor Yuzu can talk her out of it. They're lost and don't know what to do. But that's fine. We'll make it all better. It's our job, after all, to make everything better. Iris remembered everything she did that day and knows full well it was her who put Momoi in a coma and hates herself for it. We can't even finish comforting Iris before Rio, the president of Seminar, the student council, and thus head of Millennium, comes barging in to tell us the harsh truth. That Iris isn't a little girl, but a thing. No ordinary student, but the princess of the nameless gods. An artifact left behind by the previous inhabitants of Kivotos. Rio even goes so far to say that Iris is no hero. The one thing she wants to be more than anything, but more or less an evil lord who's born to destroy the world. Those robots we keep encountering are to be Iris's army she's to use to destroy all of Kivotos. And Rio puts it bluntly, she's to kill Iris before that happens, sending Nero to retrieve Iris. But Nero refuses to hurt her friend like that, forcing Rio to use the secret 5th member of CNC. The robotic and stone-cold Toki, who proves to be an equal rival to Nero. Toki is able to pin Nero down, and we/Sensei try to stop Rio from taking Iris. Iris proposes a conundrum. The trolley problem. If all it takes is killing one person to save the entire city, then why not? Besides, Iris already hurt one person. She's a ticking time bomb waiting to go off and destroy the entire city. Not even a human, but a thing. A weapon made by insane cultists. And certainly not any hero. So, Iris leaves with Rio, and her dreams of being a hero go with. Once again, a home we've just helped build up and watch grow has been destroyed. This time there's no loopholes, no adults wanting to exploit for the sake of exploiting, just hard logic and reasoning. So all we could do is watch Iris disappear. But that's fucking bullshit, damn it! The president has gone way too fucking far. It's made apparent that not only has she just kidnapped a child to murder, she has groomed Toki to become her personal assassin, misused millions of funds to create a massive city, and even kidnapped and wrongfully imprisoned Hamari for standing up against her. Trolley problem be damned. It takes Momoi to wake up from her coma with no hard feelings to Iris whatsoever. But Rio can't just take Iris away. She's not just a part of the gamers anymore, but as we saw earlier, she's become a part of everyone's lives. Robot or not, she's still a person, a key part in the school. Veritas, the engineering department, Seminar, CNC, and of course the game development department are all united in their goal to bringing our friend back. The plan is simple. Storm the castle, defeat the boss, save the princess. A lot of fighting later. We climb the tower, tell Rio she's self-righteous, and finally save Iris. But Iris isn't Iris, but Key. Ki explains that Aris is locked deep within her own body now, and that Ki has taken over in order to assist the princess in her rightful duties, and in doing so, Ki takes over the entire city, hijacking its defenses and summoning those robots from all over. Rio means to atone for her previous many mistakes by sacrificing herself to save everyone and defeat Ki. The trolley problem has once again revealed itself, the sacrifice of one to save many. A problem as old as time. The logical answer should be by all means clear. Sacrifice the one to save the many, or a few to save more. It's just logical sense. Very, frankly, hard to argue against. But the sacrifice of anyone isn't rightly worth it. No one deserves to die. Who gets to make that choice? To be sacrificed or to be the sacrificed or the saved, is not everyone's life of equal value? It's kind of bullshit and unfair if you think about it. Why do those people have to die just so that more can live? No. The real answer to the trolley problem isn't cold, hard logic. Pulling the lever to kill the least to save the many, but to save everyone. And looking for help when needed. Seminar, Noah, and Yuka are able to cut down the power to the entire city in order to stop anyone making any sacrifices or any last stands. Everyone is able to regroup and beat back the robot onslaught, giving us time to reawaken the Aris deep inside. But that doesn't necessarily mean Aris even wants to come back. Rio's words ring out and they stung a lot. She is a demon lord. Someone who only is going to cause harm to her friends, and already has even. So why bother? She was never a hero, after all, but a threat to society, herself, and the people around her. But Momoe is too hard-headed to let her friend go away, reminding her that the game they made, Tales Chronicles 2, that because they met Aris, they were able to make a great game that everyone loves, save the club, and have fun together. Because they were lucky to meet her, because of Aris, they were able to even become friends with people they never thought they'd be friends with. So all this talk about being an evil lord or a demon lord or whatever is fucking stupid. Because simply, she's their friend. And they'll come for her no matter what. No matter when. People all around you have certain expectations of you. Whether it be because of how you act, where you're from, your upbringing, your hobbies, whatever, expect you to be a certain way, or even want you to be a certain way. Your peers may even try to get you to go along with whatever their made-up version of yourself is. But all of that is stupid and meaningless. Do what you want. Be who you want to be, because the real you is whatever you define it to be. And your real friends will be the ones who are there to help you be the best you want to be, always. Aris isn't a demon lord or a princess, but a hero. Aris is able to defeat Ki and deactivate all the evil robots, proving Rio wrong in the process. That facts and logic are stupid and powerless to the power of friendship. Another happy ending. Man, Blue Archive sure has been a fun feel-good story with plenty of wholesome life lessons and fun slice-of-life antics. I sure hope nothing bad happens soon. Fuck! Up until now, Blue Archive has been pretty good. It has heart. It sure likes to wear its heart on its sleeves. And that's great. In this modern day and age, when it's cool to be cynical and ironic, Blue Archive is a fresh air, quintessential cute girls doing cute things. But this is where Blue Archive goes from pretty good to great. Amazing even. And even this late into the video, I'm going to give another spoiler warning. Please, please go read / play Blue Archive for yourself. It is good. Really, really good. Life-changingly good even. Especially everything past the 2 previous chapters. With that said, everyone else, let me ask you a question. Can we prove that anyone has ever reached paradise? If paradise exists, then the one to reach it will remain there for eternity, forever enveloped in joy and satisfaction. If someone does leave paradise, it's because they weren't fully satisfied. So it was never paradise for them. Therefore, those who reach paradise cannot be found, and should not exist outside of paradise. So can you prove the truth of someone who does not exist? You may find the story that's about to unfold to be unpalatable. It is a story meant to make you uncomfortable, uneasy, and leave you unhappy. A cynical story that will make you doubt people and truth. Gloomy, sad, painful, and ultimately bitter. But entirely truthful. I ask that you not look away and see it through to the end, for that is your responsibility. Eden, the name of paradise God created for Adam and Eve, the first humans to live in harmony with nature for all eternity, only for human folly to be banished from it. It is also the namesake of the treaty promising peace between the 2 rival schools, Trinity and Gehenna. Trinity being the uppity rich school full of angels, princesses, and nuns. Delinquents kinda hate the students from Trinity, thinking they're all constantly looking down on them and hiding secrets. And Gehenna is a school of war criminals and psychos. So it's pretty easy to figure out why they don't get along and haven't gotten along in what I'm pretty sure is their entire existence being schools. Several conflicts have broken out between the 2 in the past. And the idea is that through the Eden Treaty, through the moderation of the GSC, and their president will not only be able to find peace, but will also be able to unite their militaries for common goals and greater threats. Just one small problem. The General Student Council is fucking missing. So everything about the treaty is pretty much up there at the moment. But that shit, not our problem. All that complicated politicking is not for us. We're a teacher who hasn't really done any teaching, which is why we are summoned by 2 of the heads of the Tea Party, the group that controls Trinity. The refined, ladylike Nagisa, and her best friend, the adorable ball of energy and joy, Mika, the so-called Princess of Trinity. It's pretty impressive in a school full of princesses to be the princesses of all the princesses. I will now never say princess ever again in my life. That was really hard. Okay! But you may be wondering, alright, if the school's called Trinity, then why are there only 2 leaders? Well, the third, Seiya, she's been sick for quite some time now. So no one can go see her. There's a particular problem. Some of the students are falling behind and are at risk of expulsion. So the Tea Party tasks us with tutoring the failing students in the Makeup Work Club and make sure they don't all fail out. The Makeup Work Club consists of a few problem children in Trinity. Hanako, a fucking degenerate pervert who constantly struts around the school naked. Azusa, a terrorist who just got into huge trouble having an armed firefight with the school's Justice Task Force. Koharu, a junior member of the same Justice Task Force who just fucking hates everything. She's here because, she's fucking stupid. And Hifumi, oh hi Hifumi! Hi! She's here because she's a hardened fucking criminal. I mean, she's just kind of here to keep an eye on things. The task, like most things in Blue Archive, is very simple. The girls just have to pass 1 of 3 makeup tests. And if they can pass this, they've already fucking failed. Hanako got a 2? A fucking 2? Bitch just put her fucking name down! Well, Summer school time! But something's not right. You see, I failed to mention something. Left a little part of all of this out. Well, just a little lie, a little goof, a little guffaw. Not only if only one girl fails all 3 tests, do they all get expelled. But the Makeup Work Club is designed specifically to expel students. For no other reason than because one of the students in the Makeup Work Club is a traitor to Trinity as a whole. Someone whose desire is to prevent the signing of the Eden Trinity. Yeah, I lied again. All the politicking I mentioned earlier 100% has to do with us. And Nagisa is already losing it to paranoia, threatening us, Sensei, that there's many ways to make them all fail if we don't suss out the traitor like she wants. We tell her we'll go figure something out. Something that's nowhere near as drastic as whatever the fuck she wants. Leaving to go with the Makeup Work Club to the summer school-like boot camp. Turns out the building and the premise as a whole is old as dirt and hasn't been used in quite a while. So the group figures it's a good idea to clean up the whole place. We're gonna be here for a while after all, might as well make it a home for the time being. Besides, it's a good bonding exercise. Before this point, Blue Archive has had a lot of slice of life events that feel like they come straight out of a school anime. But this arc in particular is the most slice of life Blue Archive gets. It's a lot of cute girls doing school things. It's actually a positive, as the characters in Blue Archive are, of course, almost always entertaining and endearing. Seeing the cast bounce off one another in antics such as Hanako wearing what may or may not be just bra and panties and saying it's a bathing suit in order to clean the pool, or Hifumi and Azuna bonding over a duck plush, or Hanako teasing Koharu about having a lewd dojin in her school bag, the group trying to study in the dark in their swimsuits because it stormed and all their clothes got wet, or learning that Azusa knows a lot about making bombs and traps and always keeps her gun on her at all times, and is trained to go multiple days without sleeping and mysteriously leaves the camp at night. Wait, what? The days go on by like normal. A routine of antics start to form and a new sense of normalcy takes place. But weird things keep popping up. Turns out, some of the girls are hiding things. Koharu admits that she's a spy for the Justice Task Force. Azusa seems to have known Seiya, the 3rd member of the Tea Party who's been out sick for quite some time now. And Hanako especially seems to know a lot more than she's letting on. Suddenly, this cast of problem students that once seemed impossible to be the school's traitor, they suddenly have become a lot more suspicious. Oh hey Mika, what's up? Azusa is the traitor. She's a transfer student from the Auris Satellite School, a group that split away from Trinity a long time ago, when Trinity was just several minor warring factions and 3 big factions, hence Trinity, that all hated each other as much as Trinity and Gehenna do now, but Auris split away from Trinity due to a difference in interpretation of scripture. Trinity has suppressed Auris in several ways, and Auris has been hiding in the shadows, waiting for the revenge and destruction of both Gehenna and Trinity in violent hellfire. Mika wanted to transfer Azusa to Trinity in order to open back up relations between the 2 schools, doing so in secret, actually, as both Seiya and Nagisa very much so opposed any sort of rekindling between the 2 schools. And Mika is completely against the Eden Treaty for, reasons. Stating that power that immense can be used to silence any and all dissenters, just as Trinity did a long time ago. are just like, Seiya, oops! Seiya's fine, don't look into it, she's fine. She's sick. She's very sick. Yeah, Seiya, the leader of one of the big three Trinity factions and a member of the Tea Party as a whole, Seiya's dead. Yeah, all that politics I brought up at the start and said don't worry about it. Then I said, yeah, worry about it. Yeah, we are caught up right in the middle of a three-way multi-generational spat in grand political conspiracy. Oopsies. But Mika, despite telling us that Azusa is the traitor Nagisa's been looking for, asks us to protect her. After the very sudden bomb drop from the pink thing, things go back to normal, more or less. Mostly just Hanako harassing everyone while she wears a swimsuit and blowing up a nun. More importantly, though, on a midnight outing, the girls run into the legendary and infamous Gourmet Research Society and the introduction of Best Girl Haruna. Oh! You see, the Gourmet Research Society is on a mission to eat good food and destroy shitty restaurants. Haruna is a woman of grace and elegance, destructive rage, and an autistic fascination with food. She really likes kidnapping a lunch lady housewife, stealing cars, and blowing shit up. She's perfect. She's like Aru. She's like Aru, a Saturday morning cartoon villain who shows up randomly and steals the show. Wait, what was I talking about? All right, we were studying. The girls on their third mock exam are finally able to score a passing grade. Suddenly, the plot comes swinging back in when Nagisa summons Sensei and goes, I have been expecting you. She's, not so happy we talk to Mika. But Sensei does and has an ability that no other anime or gacha or JRPG protagonist has. He has a spine and a backbone. And while we saw some of it earlier on, Sensei starts to really come in of its own. Starts being fleshed out and has a character and personality. Standing up to Nagisa, calling her paranoid and cynical, refusing to play this bullshit politicking back and forth, and simply instead wants to help students. Nagisa ominously takes this as a challenge. And she immediately starts making sudden changes to the second exam, making it harder to pass and even relocating the testing site to the middle of nowhere Gehenna. And also setting the time to 3 AM. They would have to leave immediately in order to even try to get there on time. Those in charge start playing dirty. The Makeup Work Club will be expelled, no matter what, it seems. With no other choice, we/Sensei leads the charge and makes sure that these kids pass. Which is a lot easier said than done. Gehenna makes Detroit look safe. They almost immediately get harassed by delinquent girls that try to kidnap them. Fucking chaos ensues, and it takes the Gourmet Club to show up out of nowhere in a stolen car. Stolen from Fuka, of course. And then one Terminator 2 reference later, all of this just for the Hot Springs department to demolish the building, making the Makeup Work Club fall by default. Everyone's a little upset with the whole situation. Their whole hard work has just been tossed down the drain because of the paranoia of powers that be. Regardless, they have no other choice but to try again. The night before, Azuha sneaks out again, Hanukkah following behind. A shadowy figure, known as Sayori, instructs Azusa that tomorrow she's to destroy the Halo of Nagisa. But how could she possibly do such a thing? Despite all of Nagisa's schemings, it would mean betraying the trust and possibly destroying the lives of her newfound friends as they know it. So, she confesses to everything. To being the traitor, to Iris manipulating Mika, to Iris plotting to destroy Trinity. But Azusa has no intention of hurting Nagisa. Tomorrow, our students will march on Trinity and siege the school and attempt to kill Nagisa. The only hope for a defense in this battle is that, in her paranoia, Nagisa has already placed the entire school under martial law. And, of course, us. Hanako brings up at a point that all this chaos and scheming, that Azuha, who's at the center of it all, doesn't have to be simply. She could have just left weeks ago, disappeared without a trace like any spy should. That she doesn't have to go through all this to make this last stand, double agent, desperate defense stuff. Because she's having fun with the makeup work club. Her new friends, studying together, eating together, even doing the laundry and cleaning together. She simply didn't want the fun times to end. So now she wants to defend it. In effort to understand Azuha a bit more, Hanako tells the story of someone she knew. Someone so talented and adept, everyone couldn't help but praise everything she did. She was offered seats at the tea party, a place in the sisterhood, but quickly grew cynical at the lying, prejudice, and hypocrisy found in Trinity. She felt stifled by it all, that none of this was her. Hanako can't help but praise Azuha, stating that other girl tanked her exams on purpose so she could run away, while you dedicated yourself to the fullest. But why? Why try so hard? After all, vanitas vanitarum, vanity of vanities. Everything is in vain. The very same motto of the Iris school, and something Azusa repeats often. There's undoubtedly some truth in those words. Why try to fight against the impossible odds? The complexity of world and life. There are hatreds and scheming much greater than us, than we could even possibly understand. Far older and grander in design. What can we even do? Vanitas veritatum indeed. Except even if everything is in vain, there's no reason we shouldn't give life our all. Life is fun, simply. No other reason needed to do what's right. So, let's go do exactly that, and protect Nagisa and pass that exam. And what better way to protect Nagisa than by gaslighting and kidnapping her? Wait, what? One gaslight later, and the Hour students get ambushed almost single-handedly by Azusa. There's, well, you see, there's just a slight, teeny, tiny, itsy-bitsy little problem. You see, Azuha wasn't the traitor. She never was. Mika is the traitor. Okay! The secret mastermind of this all, it's an armed coup. And her motives for siding with the radical extremist school that wants to burn Trinity to the ground, betray her childhood friends, and cause chaos throughout the school? Well, she just really, really, really hates Gehenna. And the thought of signing a peace treaty with them makes her very skin crawl. Also, yeah, she lied to our face. The Eden Treaty was never some power grab military organization thing. No, it was actually just a peace treaty. But she did really actually want to reconcile with Iris and end probably hundreds of years of a blood feud. Just, you know, what better way to do that than to fucking burn Gehenna to the ground? The bubblegum girly princess really is a monster, huh? A witch. A witch, even going so far as to killing Seiya. At least accidentally, but she just gave the order to kidnap Seiya. She didn't actually want to pull the trigger. No, that would have been Azusa. Man, we're fucked. We're really, truly fucked. Mika has all the cards, played everything almost perfectly, and now she's going as far to murder us. Except for the massive faction of nuns that don't listen to any governing body but their own, and through a little favors of Hanako is able to get their help in arresting the insane Mika and finally put all this complicated politics shit behind us. I thought we were here to help students take their test. What the fuck is happening? But Mika isn't such a mastermind after all. And Seiya isn't dead. She's safe in the hands of the Remedial Knights nurse staff. With that bit of news, despite saying she'll stop at nothing, Mika surrenders, just like that. And before she's taken off into custody, we/Sensei, despite everything, will never turn his back on a student, no matter what they've done. So we tell Mika that, and we'll always be by her side if she ever needs us. Oh fuck! We have an exam to take! Oops! With no other bullshit aside, everything finally out of the way, no other dumb shit, all the girls are able to take their exam and pass. Easy. Wait, how long is this volume? The day of the Eden Treaty signing is here! It took a lot to get this far. Quelling the animosity between two warring factions isn't hard. It isn't easy to do. But now, everyone is watching. The news has live coverage of the whole event, and everyone is here. At least everyone important. Shell Sensei, Hina, Ako, Nagisa, Tsurugi, and the rest of the Justice Task Force team, the Sisterhood, and several other leaders and figureheads from both schools. The signing is taking place in the historic Cathedral of Communion. What better place to sign a peace treaty between angels and demons than a massive fucking cathedral? It's also a place that holds a lot of symbolic importance to Trinity, for it's the location of its first council. Meanwhile, the General Student Council still struggles to keep everything together, but don't worry about it. Unfortunately, our makeup work gang aren't attending the historic signing. Despite being the center of everything that happened previously, they're still just normal schoolgirls. So, like all the other normal students, they sit at a cafe and watch the news. Azusa is clinging onto her massive duck plushie, and Hifumi gets teased for liking cliche childish tropes like happy endings, the power of friendship shit, all of that anime. While everyone else likes mature, serious stories because they're grown-ups. And shit like, whatever the fuck Hanako is talking about. What the fuck? Honestly, it's looking to be quite the perfect day. But hatred, real hatred, is not a thing so easily buried and forgotten with just a few papers. And such a televised event means that everyone is watching. Everyone. A missile screams through the sky. A blinding light, like God's wrath made manifest, slices the sky in twain, collapsing into the cathedral, shattering all the hopes and dreams of an Eden coming to pass, leaving only fire and ash. With everyone gathered into one place, and with the world's eyes focused on the signing of this very treaty, the missile blowing up the cathedral becomes hell on earth very quickly. War has come to Kibodos, and Trinity and Gehenna will burn! We only managed to survive thanks to Arona protecting us at the very last minute. But now she's exhausted and won't be able to protect us anymore. Our soldiers are moving in, and now strange monsters roam the fire and ruins. It is pure chaos. Many key figureheads are missing. Desperate pockets of defenses are trying to form out, but now the very dead rise up to aid the Aris soldiers. Aris has struck a deal with Gematria, the group hidden in this background, masterminding schemes to further their own goals, who have no problem trampling over students to get what they want. A figurative deal with the devil in order to use the spirits of the First Council for their war effort. The students are one thing. Kivoto students are hard to break. A whole magazine of 556 can be pumped into them and they'll be fine. But us? Sensei? That's kind of a different story. If we get shot once, that's it. It's game over. But it's not completely over just yet, because Hina's not down for the count. One of the most powerful, strongest students in all of Kivoto's has that reputation for a reason, and she's currently going berserk against the Aris forces, and everyone's focus now is just to get us out of trouble. Everyone knows it to be true. We're a little fragile. Which Hina is able to do a pretty damn good job, considering a missile just blew her up and a whole ass cathedral fell on top of her. And we get pretty far. Until Yomei Sayori. Like a brick wall that Hina runs into, Sayori and the rest of the squad, the elite special unit of Aris, stands in our way. Misaki, Atsuko, and Hiyori. And well, I guess Azuha would have been here if not for, well, you know. Sayori keeps it simple. They're here to get their revenge against Trinity for the years of hatred, suppression, and conflict between the two. They've taken control of the Eden Treaty signing in place of Trinity, like they believe was their birthright since Trinity's founding. And now Gehenna and Trinity will both be erased from the face of the earth. And with that, Sayori points a gun at us and fires. And everything quickly falls apart. Gehenna and Trinity raise arms and start marching on each other, each side believing the other shot the missile. Artillery is fired, tanks soon line the streets. The main campus of Trinity is in a panic. Students start getting drafted and martial law is quickly declared. Miko watches the whole thing from the confines of her cell. Azuha says goodbye to Hifumi and leaves to go kill Sayori. She's even able to get the drop on her using the same plush she got from Hifumi as a bomb, which just leaves her crying in the rain. Trinity and Gehenna are on a knife's edge. Radical factions on both sides, both wanting open war. Hina is missing. Hanako gets arrested by radicals. Mika is released from prison by the very same radicals, but weirdly enough, Mika doesn't want any part of this. Refusing to take leadership of the faction, she acts as if all of this is just a silly game, which the radicals do not take well, and promptly beat the shit out of her. By the very same people who once supported her. Luckily, Koharu, of all people, is able to stop the violence before it gets any worse. It all seems lost. Possibly everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Turns out this was a nihilistic, gloomy story after all. One of those mature stories with no happy endings, where everything is vain and for naught, and full of tragic characters. All those fun times in the past seem long gone now. A fleeting moment, nothing more, as reality came crashing down. The carefree lives of kids and students seem almost irrelevant to the real world. Generational hatred, suffering, murder, abuse, and trauma, truly ugly and terrible things. paradise, that dilemma we've been wondering since the start of this chapter, simply does not exist. But that's life, isn't it? The way of the world. Oh well. All's well as end well, I guess. But Sensei has a job to do. And there are students waiting for us. It's time to get to work. First things first. We're going to put a stop to the radicals beating Mika and threatening Kohara. Second and third, stopping Hanako's arrest and quelling the riots in Trinity. And just generally taking control of the situation. Fourth, make sure the wounded are A-okay. Fifth, find Hina and thank her. Not for saving us, but for everything. Helping us out against the Kaiser Corporation, saving Hoshino, saving our lives. And by being single-handedly being the person keeping Gehenna under control. And thanks for being someone we can trust wholeheartedly. But most importantly, telling her we're sorry. Sorry for not treating her like a normal student. And finally, we tell Hifumi everything's going to be alright. That Azuha will come home. With all that out of the way, with the chaos and despair dealt with, we need to confront the Iris Squad. Sayori, Iori, Atsuko, and Misaki. In the rain-drenched ruins of the cathedral, where the promise of Eden was so violently dashed, Hifumi finally reveals her true nature. She's not some ordinary girl who likes anime and duck plushies, but espoused with none other than, totally not the Edos crew behind us, with none other than to save the day, the legendary and infamous masked swimsuit gang. When all hope seems lost, why not ask some of our first friends for a little help? Shiriko is still very, very serious about being a masked bank robber, though someone please stop her. She's gonna get fucking hurt. With Hina and the prefect team, the Justice Task Force, the Make-Up Work Club, the Sisterhood, and even the Abedo's closing task force, we have Aris's infamous, once seemingly invincible squad surrounded.
あずさちゃんが人殺しになるのは嫌です。そんな憂鬱で不愉快な物語、後味の悪い物語は、もしそれが正しいとしても、この世界の真実だとしても、私は好きじゃありません。私は平凡なのが好きです。平凡で何の個性もない私ですが、私のこの好きな気持ちだけは誰にも譲るつもりはありません。友情で苦難を克服して努力がけなされなくて、幼稚であっても最後にみんなが笑えるような物語、最後はみんなが幸せになる物語、そんな平凡な物語が好きです。誰であろうと私たちに強要はできません。私たちが作っていく物語は私たちが決めます。ですから今から始めます。私たちの物語を、学園と青春の物語を。
unironically, through the power of friendship and trust, we are able to combat Ours' ways of hatred and nihilism. Sayuri tells us we are all living in a fantasy and to stop dreaming that this is all fucking stupid. Love, hope, fuck, erasing hatred and mistrust in the world is a dream. Nothing more than that. Her way is the way of the world works. But we are a teacher. Sensei is a teacher. And they're his students. It is a teacher's responsibility to help them achieve their dreams, as it is true for all adults with the next generation. With that, our squad is no match for us. Having been soundly defeated in both battle and ideologically, they surrender and leave just like that. Can we prove that anyone has ever reached paradise? The paradise paradox is the question we started off with on this adventure. A silly and ridiculous notion that no one can ever prove that paradise exists, based on the logic that if someone was to reach such a place, they would have no need to return and tell everyone about it. Our answer to the paradox is a simple one. Does it exist? Of course, yeah, of course it does. How do you know? Simple. I have faith that it does. Redemption is a core aspect to the teachings of Christ, along with many others, of course. The idea that no matter what your background is, your previous actions, or your misdeeds and misbegottens you have committed, through him you will be saved, redeemed and loved, because that is what you and what all peoples deserve, that everyone deserves a second chance. As many second chances as it takes, even. But on the other side of redemption is forgiveness. To forgive someone who perpetrated ill against you, we are taught through Christ to always believe the wrong. We are taught through Christ to always forgive the wrongdoings of others, so that you may one day be able to with open arms greet them and accept them as any brother or sister. Sometimes it may be easy, sometimes it may be hard. Very hard. How do you forgive the unforgivable, the cruel, and the unjust? It's simple. By forgiving them anyway. This section may be a little different from the previous summarization of the plot, narrative, and themes of Blue Archive. Instead, I want to talk about something near and dear. Blue Archive up until this point has been good, great even. Hifumi's speech, fucking legendary. But I don't think anything has ever affected me as deeply and emotionally as Mika's redemption in a long time. The story of Chapter 4, Volume 3 ties up a lot of loose ends from the previous parts. Our squad, Sayuri, Hiyori, and Misagi, are frankly in trouble, a lot of trouble. They are unable to return home to the Irish school. And Atsuko, their dear friend, has been taken from them. to be sacrificed for the selfish whims of Gematria's Beatrice, the hidden ruler of Auris, who regularly abuses the students for her own personal gain. They have nowhere to go, no one to turn to but Sensei, but us. And it's a tall order. They launched a missile at our friends, shot us, left us for dead. It caused so much damage and destruction in the name of hatred. Really, they don't deserve help. But Sensei is a teacher, and they're students. It's the right thing to do, to forgive these troubled kids and help them. Sometimes you don't really need any other reason. Mika is in a lot of trouble. Her betrayal of Trinity has not been forgotten. Siding with Auris and attempting to murder both Seiya and Nagisa, she must be held accountable. Facing expulsion and after her run-in with the radicals and refusing to join them, she is truly alone in Trinity. Students protest her, break into her dorm, and even burn down all her stuff in a big bonfire. Insults like witch and traitor are said as her name is spat on. It's not looking good. But as long as she gets the forgiveness of her friends, Seiya and Nagisa, this should be all fine. It should be all right. Right? Unfortunately, business comes first before forgiveness. Mika is left by the wayside, so we can help Sayori and the rest of squad rescue Atsuko. And with the shoutings of students to burn the witch, and what looks like second chances going out the window after being lied to, manipulated, and betrayed, Mika finally snaps. All she ever wanted to do was to reconcile Trinity and Auris' hatred, but Squad took advantage of her naivety, her inability to play the political games, because she's just not that type of person. Just a naive girl in a world full of terrible adults. It's not her fault. No, it's Sayori's. She simply couldn't handle all the horrible shit that was going on earlier, so she coped by pretending to be the villain. She never wanted to hurt Seiya or Nagisa, but it's too late now. Quite possibly the single most powerful student in all of Kivodos has finally snapped. She breaks out of jail with her own bare hands and tears a path straight to Sayori. After chasing Sayori and the rest of the squad deep into the Auris district and having Sayori at the barrel of a gun, all Mika needs to do is finish the job. But she can't. She realizes that Sayori and her aren't so different. They are both damned souls wanting happiness. She prayed for mercy. She knows she's messed up. And no one hates her more than herself for that mistake. But prayer after prayer and nothing. She lost her friends, home, everything. Second chance after second chance gone by things outside of her control. And is that fair? For one mistake to ruin someone's life, tossing everything away in a self-destructive streak because you know you've messed up, but now so much is out of your control and everything's spiraling away from you. At some point you got left behind, and now your own self-destruction is the only thing you can control. Mika's not very smart. All brawn, no brain. She's childish and carefree. Because of that, she got in way over her head, and bad things happened. And now her life is ruined, maybe even over. But no one deserves something like that. Everyone deserves a second chance. I deserve a second chance. We all do. Everyone deserves as many chances as it takes. I realized something about myself, found myself relating to a character in a way I haven't been able to before with other characters. I find myself relating heavily to characters like Poon and Tomoya. But I found a part of me that I didn't know existed before. Because of that, Mika became a character that means a lot to me. I've cried at work just thinking about her arc and what it means, how to be redeemed and how to forgive yourself. But she hasn't forgiven herself once. She hasn't forgiven herself just yet. Once Sensei comes running back to her after her fight with Sayori, she goes on a suicidal last stand to protect everyone, thinking she doesn't deserve forgiveness and redemption while she sings along the song Kyrie Eleison. Kyrie Eleison, may the Lord have mercy. As she battles an infinite amount of foes, also others can find the happy ending she doesn't deserve. I'm not a very smart guy. There's a lot of things I don't really understand about me. I try to be big and strong, but there always feels like a million different things outside of my control. I've done things in my own past I'm not proud of. I've hurt others I shouldn't have. I didn't act where I should have. And things that will probably stick with me for the rest of my life, I'm afraid. I can't help but see myself in a million different ways reflected back in her. And I want to be forgiven, to be redeemed. I realized something going through this chapter. Sensei, despite supposedly being a self-insert, and other fans insisting that you are Sensei, I realize that I am not him. I look in the mirror and see the person I am, flaws and all. While Sensei, the self-insert, has evolved past that of someone to pretend to be, but instead a goal to be. Someone who always forgives, loves everyone, willing to stick up for those who can't, and someone who will always be there for others. Someone I'm afraid I'm not. But I'm trying. Well, that was a lot. Where the hell does Blue Archive go after exploring themes of child abuse, redemption, forgiveness, love, and friendship, as well as the rest of the main themes of the game? After putting our beloved characters through the ringer in like coal under pressure, coming out like a diamond. Well, there are some students protesting in a park. And the cops are having trouble breaking them up. That's always relevant. You see, SRT Academy was once the most prestigious academy in Kivodos that trained exclusively for spec ops tactics, has recently closed for unknown reasons. In this chapter, we get to learn a lot more about how does Kivodos actually work, how schools act more like college campuses or countries than anything else, with the school being in charge of the surrounding area and students living on the property. So because of that, students get really patriotic for the school they're born in, applied to. That part's not really clear, but who cares? The important thing to note that while SRT may have closed, the students all actually had a place for them in the local police school, Valkyrie. But there's a problem. Well, here's where that problem of school nationalism takes place. You see, the youngest group of first years, or the Rabbit Squad, would rather die than join the stinky, dumb, normal police force. Meet the local rabbits. Mo, the helicopter demolition specialist, and also a fucking bitch who gets really horny for blowing things up. She's constantly butting heads and being really antagonistic to the rest of the squad. Miyu, trash girl who gets forgotten a lot and has some self-esteem issues. Saki, also kind of a bitch and really likes helicopters and is very much so prideful and by the books. She also butts head a lot with the de facto leader, Miyako, another kind of a bitch who's doing her best to keep everything together. The rabbits might actually be the most realistic teenagers ever written, because they're all catty and have a fucking attitude. After several chapters and hours of anime slice of life cutesy fun shit, we're given the task of dealing with students who actually just fucking hate us. To be fair, we did help the police break up their protest. Now homeless, alone, and out of ammo, food, and even proper hygiene or fend for themselves in a long stay camping trip. We help out a bit from time to time on the food and hygiene part of things. They are still students after all, even if they hate us. But one thing's for sure, these girls are really good at small squad tactics. While other groups may use things like the power of friendship, or tanks, or a big fucking missile, or an overpowered protagonist, or fucking magic, rabbits just need some planning, a helicopter, and good leadership. And they could probably take on the rest of those groups, except maybe Hina on her own, or Mika, or Hoshino when she's not asleep, or Squad, or wait. Now would probably be a good time to talk about gameplay. After however many hours this has been, I think it's been 2. Guns are cool, there's no doubt about that. And while many other games outside of the Call of Duty slot prefer things like swords and magic and much more fantastical approaches to combat, if it isn't swords and sorcery, it's sci-fi and ridiculous. With the small arms side of combat being relegated to PvP slop or unbelievably niche military sims you and I have never even heard of. But people like guns. The man yearns to die in a field in Europe. And while World War II shooters come and go, modern military sidearms are relegated to those 2 examples I just brought up. But that's where Blue Archive, of all things, comes in. Anime girls with guns has been a very popular trope on the internet for probably as long as the internet has been a thing. Yojo Senkai is popular almost solely on that basis alone. And with Blue Archive being nothing more than the creators throwing everything they like into a video game and saying, basically, you either like this or this game wasn't made for you. The fact that every girl in this game has a firearm starts making a lot more sense, with each gun in the game having a clear base in reality, except for Hina's magic MG42, but that's also kind of the point, you know. Each character having their own unique gun with some modifications made to it to further tell you about their personality. And a lot of the game's fights are like this. While yes, sometimes you fight a massive mecha snake, with a really good song. And amusement park mascots, at least in the story, it's small squads being forced to use somewhat grounded tactics and modern day equipment like helicopters and mortar teams and the occasional armored car. I have played way too much Hoi 4, and I only write D&D campaigns or RPG Maker games or any other stories in the context of medieval fantasy shit. I have never cared for modern day shit. Desert Storm, lame. Invasion of Iraq, more like Invasion of my snooze festival. All of my friends are in the military. I'm probably gonna get my fucking ass kicked for this. But unironically, hear me, as stupid and fucking weeaboo cringe as it sounds, reading the Blue Archive battles kinda got me really interested and invested. It's hard to explain other than that Blue Archive makes Black Ops storming inside of a building with a small group of highly trained professionals under the cover of night with only a few hours to get in and get the job done and get out way fucking cooler than World War II running across France and shooting Nazis for the billionth time. Wait, I thought I was talking about gameplay. I thought this was a video game. Well, the actual gameplay of Blue Archive is, fucking nothing. The little chibis run around and you press an EX button sometimes. What's cool is the previous context I was talking about earlier and the spectacle during the fights. When Blue Archive fights are at its best, it's your elite squad sieging a building with an armored police car and helicopter support in intense urban warfare. Or shooting at a massive chicken on top of a ruined skyscrapers with helicopters coming in and shooting and go pew pew pew. This game is fucking weird. Oh right, there was a story in this part. The rabbits are struggling, fighting black market Kaiser operations just to steal some drum barrels to bathe in, fighting an anarchist communist robot hobos over expired bento, fighting us every time we try to help, and with the very real threat of the police storming in and breaking up their meager camp at any moment. They're all a little tense and kinda at each other's throats all at the same time. The only saving grace is that the police are kind of incompetent and also broke, just like real life. Eventually it starts to rain. Apparently Kavotos has rainy and dry seasons, and that rainy season has begun, which is pretty fine. Rain is neat. You get to hole up inside and have a nice cup of coffee or go out on a brooding, moody walk. Like yeah, it can interrupt your plans for the day, but rain is a useful and natural part of life. In the 21st century, it isn't that big of a deal. You're still expected to go to work after all. So I'm sure most of the schools don't really care or even pay mind to the... Oh, we have a bunch of homeless kids living in a park. Fuck. Talking from personal experience, setting up camp or camping in the rain kinda fucking sucks. A lesson the prideful Rabbit Squad learns first-handedly as their main command tent and everything else collapses. And their camp gets flooded. All of their ammo is underwater. All of their radios destroyed. Everything is ruined from just a little rain. Miyako, the most dedicated to this whole "we're better than the police and everyone else because we're SRT" crusade, tries to bring up the morale, saying everything is fixable, but all the tension finally boils over, and a fight breaks out. Everyone's done. They were once an elite school debating justice and tactics. Now, they're just a bunch of homeless kids fighting for scraps. They want to go home. So, now, alone, Miyako tries her best to dig everything up and make a spillway, but that's more or less impossible by herself. So we, wordless, do what we do best. The right thing. Grab a shovel and help her out. They may not like us very much or even want our help, just a nuisance to the end, but regardless, Miyako can't clear the spillway on her own. So with a shovel in hand and in the pouring rain, we give her an extra set of hands. Because who else if not us? Meanwhile, Kaya, a friendly new face and head of safety in the General Student Council, might as well be the police commissioner, has given Kana, a police officer, an interesting order. Despite her saying she's going to help us out with SRT, she tells Kana to clear out the homeless population in the park. But they've tried that before, and it took Sensei's help to break up the protest. Clearing them out is a whole nother issue. No worries, though. There just so happens to be a massive mega corporation that can solve any issue if you're willing to pay up. Kaiser Corp sure has been a lot more active recently since the last time we saw them trying to take over Abydos. They've brought up all the weapons and they've bought up all the weapons and supplies in the area, and now the local police force are armed with Kaiser branded firearms and equipment. But the rabbits are able to stay in their park for now. But Kaya, along with Kaiser Corp, seem to be making plans. Oh well, I'm sure nothing bad will happen. Never mind the fact that the police are being turned into a paramilitary group. Beatrice tried to summon an ancient eldritch god. Nameless priest technology keeps showing up, and Rio's schizobabblings about defending Kivotos from a great catastrophe start making more and more ominous sense. Seiya was getting very ominous visions about a grown woman shooting an iPad, while Gematria is doing, something. Oh, whatever. I'm sure everything will be okay. Wait. What? Wait, why is the sky turning red? Fuck! I got coffee everywhere. Oh boy. Where do I even begin? The grand climax of everything leading up to this moment, both in Blue Archive and in this very video. A passion project made from the bottom of my heart, a piece of work I put my heart and soul into. I cried, I laughed, I pulled my hair out, but here we are. It's midnight at the time of writing this. I have a Bang energy in hand, it's cotton candy flavored. I can only hope I can express just how much my favorite game means to not only me, but to many others. So, the only place to begin is with the beginning, of course. I only ever touched briefly on the disappearance of the General Student Council president, but it's actually kind of a big deal. Gone without a trace, she left the General Student Council in chaos for strange and unknown reasons. She was always a bit eccentric and carefree, though, I guess. Or at least from what we've been told. But we've been doing our best to put out fires wherever we can, and when we can't, the General Student Council at least tries. Not that they can do much without the president. Ren's trying her best. The finale starts as most of these stories have. Just another day in Kivoto's. Days go by normally, with only some realizing that something is off. In the early mornings in the General Student Council building, 6 masses of incredibly high energy have been spotted throughout Kivoto's. They're fucking everywhere, and a state of emergency is quickly declared with an order to gather every student council representative throughout the many schools. But this already puts a strain on the supposed abuse of power the GSC is already under criticism for, more specifically Rin, the acting head. To which the chief of finances, Aoi, is not very happy about. Closing SRT and approving Shale are one thing, but now random acts of emergency because of some prophecy? Aoi acts more or less as the opposing opposition to Rin. The figurehead of all of the criticisms her and the rest of the GSC has been getting while we've been dicking around shooting ghosts and robots with students. But for now, all she does is state that Rin has been going too far and leaves. Kaya, overhearing everything, even offers the advice to invite us. Yay! And that the emergency meeting should use some extra security. The message is sent out and all the students And basically everyone is on the same page. They never would have bothered to come if it wasn't for us going. Everyone's already chalked it up to being a disaster waiting to happen, and frankly, a waste of time. Ryo's invitation goes unread. Arona is very excited for the meeting though, and hey, we even get an armed escort from the Valkyrie School. You know, the police. The police that Kaya is in charge of. Kaya, the person planning to coup the General Student Council and is working with the Kaiser Corporation. You know, the Kaiser Corporation. The megacorp that's been buying up Abedos and has its own personal PMC? Picking us up in a helicopter? That they can afford? The infamously poorly budgeted police school can afford a helicopter? Just for us? Alright, yeah, I'm done with this bit. We just got kidnapped by Kaiser private military. Not only that, but Kaya's master plan to coup the General Student Council has actually been destroyed by the very same Kaiser PMC she's been working with. Quickly and immediately betrayed by the General, who are going to take it over for themselves. Fucking somehow, Arona bends space-time to make it so PMC Kaiser bullets don't hit us from point blank. She is super Arona after all, and determined to make sure nothing bad happens to us. Good AI daughter. But something is coming. And everyone can feel it. Even Arona inside the iPad. Arona may be able to stop bullets, but not a gun butt, so we are knocked the fuck out. Meanwhile, Shiroko is running late to joining the rest of the foreclosure task force and leaving for the GSE emergency meeting. A lot is going on, so sorry if this is kind of sporadic, but thanks to her being late, Shiroko is able to notice that Kaiser PMC troops are rallying in the desert strangely. She even says fuck it and follows them. She's always been a little aloof and weird, but that's okay, that's why we love her. Shiroko goes missing. Without us, the meeting was a complete failure. Everyone really only came because Sensei was said to be there. And since we're captured by Kaiser, and we've just kind of been tossed in a cold, dark cell, well, there was no way for us to show up. Everyone quickly left without anything getting done. Worst of all, Aoi uses the failure of the meeting and our disappearance as the perfect opportunity to pass a vote of no confidence in Rin. With no leadership and in the confusion, Kaiser was able to storm in with armed guards and take over the GSC building and declare martial law, shutting down all the roads and transportation in and out of the central city. Our imprisonment isn't long, only about 6 hours, before Kana, of all people, the grumpy police commissioner, is able to break us out of jail and give us a rundown of everything. With the few remaining good cops left in Valkyrie, they're able to fight their way out with us in tow. Kana is beat up and badly injured and tries to have a touching final moment where she can make a last stand for us to all escape. Except we have a magic iPad with an AI daughter who is very happy to see us again, and we tell her no last stands allowed. Everyone gets a happy ending here, dummy. Surrounded on all sides, escape seems futile. PMC soldiers are everywhere. Arona tries to desperately call for aid. And who else answers but the Rabbit Squad breaking in through the windows, throwing smoke bombs in there? With Miyu covering us, we're able to make a dramatic escape. Fucking so much for hating us, I guess. A lot of the beginning of Volume F is really Rabbids 1.5. Not that I'm complaining, it's very entertaining. Getting back to police corruption and spec op shit. Lots of tying up the loose ends from the previous chapter. We're able to run away to the Rabbit's base of operation, the part they camp out at. The situation is not looking good. Kaiser has not only declared martial law, but has also shut down all the communications. And the General Student Council and Rin are currently locked up under the PMCs. There's really only one option. Thus begins Operation Recaptured Shale. It's time to liberate our home. This might be actually my favorite battle in Blue Archive. Typical Blue Archive fights are 4 students versus either a wave of generic enemies or a big raid boss. Operation Recapture Shale is a massive urban warfare battle with several barricades and police reinforcements and an armored car, the Rabbit's helicopter, battle out against the Kaiser PMC's tanks and Omen armed forces and air cavalry in order to retake the place we've been calling home this entire journey so far. It's something Blue Archive does best, one of its many things. Pure spectacle fun. It's not exactly hard, but, fucking who gives a shit? It's hype as shit. Gurmachia is kinda lost. For being the big bad evil in the Shadows group that they are, they kind of funded Kaiser a little too much, and now Kaiser's just kind of doing whatever they fucking want. They shoot Beatrice with the gun made to kill Beatrice because she's been too much of a bitch. They all kind of feel blown the fuck out. They know good and well what is about to happen. The Chroma and the Nameless Priest forces way out of their league are coming, and they can't really do anything about it. Especially not when a mysterious wolf girl arrives and single-handedly ruins any plan or relevance Gematria will have. Quickly, a theme begins to reveal itself, and one of many. Volume F is using every game mechanic Blue Archive has in order to create a satisfying climax, pushing battles to its limits, and even using the hexagonal tactics menu, going as so far as having its own in-chapter story events with even more unique mechanics. Volume F is honestly, truly a spectacle. And I haven't even begun. We're able to storm the building and rescue Rin and the rest of the General Student Council, even able to subdue the General. But while all this was fun and all, it was nothing more but a distraction from greater forces. With the communications finally back up, we have many missed calls and messages. Everyone is panicking. The calamity, the very thing Rio sacrificed everything to prevent. The thing that haunted Seiya's nightmares, and most of all, Shiroko's disappearance. It's all coming to a head. Whatever genre or narrative you, we, or I had in mind has been subverted, with the very sky turning red. And Blue Archive, while already being a very touching and meaningful game about many things, becomes something more. Up until now, Blue Archive's message has been clear. It always has been. Love your friends, enjoy life, forgive others, the power of friendship, redemption is always possible, nostalgic youthful days. Cliches are fun, fun things are just that, fun. Always do the right thing no matter what. Meaningful lessons we've, frankly, always known in the deepest parts of ourselves. While all these colorful ideals are nice and all, they make you feel warm and fuzzy inside. Easy to say and claim to hold to. But what is an ideal's worth if it cannot be challenged? To be confronted with the cruel realities of the world. What's all this worth? Life is cruel after all. So what does any of this even mean? It's just the posturing of children. Blue Archive goes above and beyond simply stating these things to be true. It asks you, the player, Sensei. It asks me, myself, and I, to look front and center at the unjust realities of living, square in the face, and say that despite everything, that I believe in a happy ending. That things will work out. It asks that when given the age-old trolley problem, to sacrifice the lives of the few for the many, it asks that your response should simply be ask for help to save everyone. The world is falling apart. That much is clear and obvious. Those massive sources of energy all around Kivotos were pretty damn important. So Sensei, with Arona's help, contacts everyone! in order to band together and unite against the massive raid bosses terrorizing the city. The whole city unites. Trinity, Abedos, Rabbits, Millennium, Aris, Gehenna, Hyakio, Red Winter, the Problem Solvers, even the local gangs, and Wakamo, one of the 7 prisoners, all band together and set out in sets of teams under our Sensei's leadership in order to combat the Chroma. Everything is in pure and utter chaos as the Chroma threatens to destroy the entire world. Blue Archive can be dark and sad, depressing even. It can touch on heavy topics. I mean, fuck. Look at what happened in Trinity, chapters 3 and 4 of the series. But Blue Archive is most of all fun. Unlike most things that come out that start out as cutesy and fun, but actually have a dark and sinister twist, where most other stories will shift in tones from lighter to darker subjects over the course of the story, Blue Archive refuses, simply. Blue Archive isn't dark or edgy, but fun and fucking stupid. It embraces its cliches and tropes to the highest fault in a story with child abuse, suicide, death, war, faith, redemption, in a terrible and evil eldritch god from beyond the stars that comes to devour the world in nihilism. Its great champion is a fucking giant duck, in that the goddamn Super Sentai Power Rangers band together to form a Megazord to go beat its fucking ass. Because despite everything, Blue Archive is fun. It is goofy. It loves every cliche it uses. Blue Archive is first and foremost a game for weebs by weebs, for nerds who love dumb Japanese shit, by weebs and nerds who love dumb Japanese shit. It is a Korean game that wholeheartedly embraces every cliche and trope in the book because they love them, because you love them, because I fucking love them, because the power of friendship, no matter how overused, cliche, unrealistic, or stupid it may seem, means more to humans than we could ever express. It was one of the many universal themes and messages Blue Archive wants to express, to remind us even. Blue Archive's grand finale isn't some horrible, grim expose on the meaning of life and humanity, but a fucking spectacle in a celebration of itself, its characters, its world, of all things that have inspired Blue Archive. And because of that, we did it. The sky turns blue once again. The chroma is defeated. The chaos is set aside. Everyone we know and love united and joined together to defeat it. Truth, love, justice, friendship, all won out in the end. That rain is really fucking loud. What the fuck? I'm trying to record! I'm trying to record, Rain. Can you stop? What the fuck? This is ridiculous. Look at this. Except, we get a visit from a fully grown wolf girl who we've been getting visions and glimpses of, who single-handedly destroyed Gematria, and able to get a good look at her. Shiroko? our ideals haven't even begun to be tested. Shiroko reveals that this is all her doing. That her role from the very moment she was put onto this earth was to end it. From the moment she breathed her first breath was the moment life itself was doomed to die. We are all doomed to die, after all. Actually, since the very moment we breathe life, our time begins to run down. Friendship, love, hope, humanity, faith, all of that is meaningless. Simply something to pass the time. Everything previous was a spectacle. Fireworks, shallow and hollow. Once we are reminded of the one ultimate truth in life, we are doomed to die. I am sorry to inform you that everything I said earlier is and was a lie. The iron mask of Faranpatis stares us dead in the face in order to remind us that no matter how beautiful, no matter how tender, how sweet, how exquisite, a lie shall remain a lie. Death always waits for us at the end. All that spectacle, fun, and excitement is thrown out in an instant, made meaningless as the same blood-red sky takes over the blue once again, and those same 6 massive energy signs reappear all over the city, and chaos resumes. All our effort made for naught. Such a cliche way to end things, isn't it? Wah, wah, life has no meaning. Wah, nihilism is cool. Wah. Fuck that. There are people who believe in us. There's a massive black hole in the sky. So you know what? Let's fly a giant spaceship into it. Inside, we are able to find our Shiroko, as well as the other Shiroko, and another Arona. The truth becomes obvious. We're staring into a mirror. Faranpatis is us, the sensei. He has his own card, his own Shitum chest, own Shiroko, own Arona. We all stare at the future in front of us, where our choices may lead us to. Faranpatis is just here to help Shiroko end the world, like she's supposed to, in a dark reflection of how we've been helping students achieve their goals. Despite everything, despite staring our future in the face, with perhaps the knowledge that this is inevitable, in the back of our minds, stubbornly we refuse their nihilism as best we can. The two Shirokos get into a desperate and very ugly mirror match, while the rest of the students rush around to find a way to defeat the black hole or the arc and save us all from its explosion. Sensei, Shiroko, and Arona are locked into an impossible battle of both skills and ideals. But that's not the way to win. The only way we can defeat the trio is with everyone's help. Because simply, the other trio is vastly stronger than us. But they're alone. Just a trio, while we brought everyone we can along with us. And because we trust them, we're able to overcome our darker selves. The entire time, though, Faranpatis, the other sensei, the other us, remain silent. Because the fight isn't over just yet. Both Arona's and Shiroko's fight to protect the other sensei. Both senseis pull out their cards. May the stronger card win, I suppose. But we've never been one for fighting, though, have we? When given the opportunity, we simply ask the other Shiroko what happened. How did this happen, and what went so wrong? With the arrival of Hoshino, Nonami, Saraka, and Ayane, it's too much for the other grown Shiroko. She blames herself for everything. Her own world falling apart, destroying itself, making Sensei some prophet to guide an ancient god. Hoshino died, Sarika disappeared, Ayane's life support was removed. Nonami left Abedos, and her sensei had no hope of being revived. The world she's from is a horrible one. A very much so real one. The school's debt would never be solved, and horrible, horrible things happened to everyone. And all our friends, Left alone in the foreclosure room, there was no hope for the other Shiroko, blaming herself for everything. And things, frankly, just kept getting worse. No other option left for her, Shiroko went out to the desert to die. The suffering too much. It was simply not worth living anymore. But unknown, strange priests refused to let Shiroko, their god of death, die, but to turn her suffering made manifest and let it wreak havoc on the world. In the flashback, we're given control over Fanartist, or Sensei, because, well, we're one and the same. The reason he could never speak was that there are dozens of steel plates barely holding us together. Shiroko destroys everything, even our very own iPad, the Shitum chest. But this isn't her. No one wanted this, and powers outside of everyone's control transforms Shiroko and Sensei into something unrecognizable. Everything's falling apart, and everyone's only barely able to make it out. Thanks to some tech stuff, we're able to teleport the students off the Ark one by one as Fanartist begins amassing some sort of power from the collapsing Ark in one desperate last attack. They're not done yet. Fanartist is just as stubborn as us, huh? Fanartist stands in front of his Shiroko to protect her from our bullets, acting as a desperate meat shield. Despite everything, he's still Sensei. Protecting his students, after all. Just like how, despite everything, you're still you. And I'm still me. It's time to get everyone off this thing. We have 13 evacuation teleporters and 12 students, so that's enough for all of them and ourselves. Fanartist continues to stand in the way between us and Shiroko. We're able to get every student to escape one by one until there's only one escape sequence left. Fanartist wants to tell us something now that we're alone on the Ark. It's not your fault, Shiroko. Your life matters. Don't regret living. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be happy. Thinking that the only way to end your suffering is through death is terrible. You aren't born to suffer, and you shouldn't. No child should ever feel that way. If your world is filled with more pain than happiness, if you're wishing your life was over just to end the despair, if you're wandering the world feeling like you don't belong, that's not your fault. It's the fault of the world you live in and the people responsible for it. No one person should carry the entire weight of the world on their shoulders, especially not a child. No matter how many terrible, horrible things you've done, no matter how many unforgivable offenses you've committed, it should never be that way. It's not your responsibility. The duty should fall to the adults in your life. I'll be the one to take responsibility. Shiroko was never some stupid god of death and destruction. She's just some kid who likes making masks to rob banks. Some girl who likes to ride her bike. Just a child suffering. And that's why Sensei became fanartist to protect his student. You know, he was standing in front of his Shiroko, protecting her from us shooting at her. Despite everything, he's the same guy who protects his students no matter what. Despite everything, he's still Sensei. Just like how, despite everything, you're still you and I'm still me. There are things, terrible things that will try to beat you down. Events and stuff outside of your control, but despite that, what has happened to you, you're still here. What did fanartist have to say to us again? Oh, right. Please take care of my students. And don't worry. I will. We use our last escape sequence for the 13th student. Making Shiroko gets off the ark safely because we do what's right. For no other reason, because it's the right thing to do. Here is where Blue Archive pulls its ultimate card, its final trick. Blue Archive is a story for adults. A mature story in every sense of the word. It's not full of sex, blood, violence, and swears like many other things for adults. But instead, it's about a lot of things. It's a story about responsibility, looking out for those who cannot look out for themselves, helping others, making sure the next generation is taken care of. It's about loving your friends, loving everyone, really, enjoying life. It's about fun cliches and tropes, the power of friendship, and asking for help. Blue Archive is a nostalgic look back at simpler times. School nostalgic, the romantic idea of youth, how it should be. We are all currently cursed to live in interesting times, I'm afraid. The world is dark and scary, unfortunately. And Blue Archive came at a time, Blue Archive came out in this time. It is a story, it's a story I'm afraid you won't understand until you're at least in your mid-20s to even late 20s. It's something that speaks to the heart. A truth you and I, we always have known, we've always known it's been true. We just needed to be given a little reminder. I carry the torch my other self passed down to me. Thanks for the card, other me. I'll put it to good use. And don't worry, I'll take care of Kuroko and Plana. Always. And you. Yes, you. Get the fuck out there. Get out there. Turn the video off. Tell your parents you love them. Call your friends. Say, hey, let's hang out. Tell your sibling they're little shit and you love them anyway. Give your partner a hug and a kiss. Scoop them up in your arms and cherish the fact you're on this earth at the very same time as the people who you most care about. Life is precious. A wonderful gift given to us by whatever you believe in. Life is also hard. I know that to be very well. Through depression, homelessness, abuse, both emotional and physical, addictions, poverty, and suicidal intentions. But despite everything, I'm still here. I'm here because of the people I care about and the people that care about me. A silly little gacha game helped remind me of that. Because of that, life's gotten a lot easier. Kata, I know you're mad at me, and for good reasons. We got into a little fight, but I still want to be your friend regardless. Armored in pink, I look forward every year to seeing you guys at Otakon. It wouldn't be the same without you. See you guys in August. Dova, keep on making music. I'll never forget our many D&D adventures, dude. Jekko, I cannot say thank you enough for introducing me and making me play what is now my favorite game of all time. My favorite thing after beating out Katawa Shoujo, after sitting at the top for more than 8 years. Maybe we can meet up at some point. To my little brother, you're a little shit and I love you. I wish the best for you, even if you do like corn and smell like ferrets sometimes. To everyone in Booga Buddies whose names I'd rather not dox, you know who you are. I know I'm not great at expressing myself, and I'm kind of dumb and annoying, and I have weird emotional hang-ups about shit. But you're all my best friends, and I love you all. I wouldn't be here if not for you. And to you watching this right now, thank you. I hope you liked my video. Give it a like and a subscribe. Go play Blue Archive. The final score? 10 out of 10. And instead of saying goodbye, let's say, see you tomorrow.